Hello everyone, this is Jesus, and today we'll be reacting to Top 5 Ore Farmers in Warhammer 40k by the Gooner Goblin. If you guys enjoyed this video, please click all those buttons down below. It will really help for a worthless channel like myself. And also check out the Gooner Goblin as well. He makes some awesome content and sloppy content. So, without further ado, let's do this.
What's up, nerds? Zach the Goblin here. Warhammer 40k has tons of cool characters, and in a universe full of epic last stands, gen-enhanced super soldiers, warrior creeds, and demigods, some of those characters are of course going to stand above the rest. Some characters just radiate coolness, or aura,
I mean,
if you
a
will,
good
no matter
example
what
is
they do.
what
That is
happening right
why
now.
today I'm going to be going
Boris.
over 5 of the biggest aura farmers in the grim darkness of the far future.
I
And
mean,
as
I'm eating
always,
some
if you think
salad.
I missed someone, please let me know in the comments below, and I might just make a part 2. If you enjoyed this video, please, for me, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that
Be
noti
sure
bell
you
for
do that.
more
He makes some
Warhammer
good shit.
40k content, as it really does help the channel out. Okay, now it's time to yap about some aura farmers. It's Goblin time. Okay,
Let's
first, I
do
feel
this.
like I should probably define what aura farming is. For those who don't know, aura farming is essentially intentionally performing actions to gain or increase one's perceived aura, or coolness,
Yeah.
essentially. Some examples include Piccolo from any Dragon Ball Z movie, Sasuke from Naruto, and Killua from Hunter x Hunter. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to ignore that intentional part of the definition.
Okay.
And I think anyone on this list could be moved up or down a spot, so I'm going to call this a soft ranking. But I am interested to see how you would rank these, so let me know. So at number 5, I'm going to start with the Primarchs as a whole.
Oh, the Primarchs. Okay.
Okay, hear me out before you get angry at me for putting the Primarchs at the bottom.
Okay. For me, I don't feel like it's big of an issue because, well, they were made to be that way. So it feels too easy to say, hey, who is the most ore farmer of all time? Huh? Well, the Primarchs. That's too easy, I would say. I will also include the Astartes as well. But yeah, I could see his viewpoint.
Bottom. Every single Primarch is a top tier aura farmer, right? But the thing is they were basically made to do that. So
Exactly.
to me, it seems less, I don't know, impressive, if that makes sense. Like, what's more impressive? A calculator doing math or a gorilla doing math? The gorilla, obviously, because the calculator, that's its only purpose. That's what
Okay.
it's made to do. Now, I realize that's kind of a weird example, but I like gorillas.
I would
so
say
it was the first
interesting,
thing I
but
thought
okay.
of. As a matter of fact, Ashet, play a montage of gorillas being funny.
Look at these goofy sons of guns.
I was actually hesitant to even put the Primarchs on here for that reason, but it felt wrong not including them in some way. So again, you could justify any of the Primarchs being on this list, but I'm only going to highlight...
I could imagine every ore farming Primarch moment would take like an hour or so because they do it a lot. Believe me.
2 for the sake of brevity. The first of which is the angel, Sanguinius. Sanguinius is actually one of the reasons why I took out the intentional
Valid
part
reason.
of the aura farming definition. Because my man is just constantly, effortlessly aura farming.
Of
And I don't
course.
think he's trying to, I just think he's that guy. And there are tons of examples of him just farming that aura. From his iconic speech at the Eternity Gate, allowing himself to be impaled by Demon Angron so he could rip the Butcher's nails out of his head and banish him. Or the fact that he'll descend to a battleground like an angel from the heavens. But one of my favorite moments is from the novel Fear to Tread by James Swallow. And this takes place towards the end of the book, where after previously being laid low by the bloodthirster Kabunda, he recovers and then goes to confront him for the rematch. So they are fighting, and Sanguinius gets a hold of one of Kabunda's bat-like wings and says one of the hardest lines ever: "Only angels may fly," before tearing off the bloodthirster's wing. And he's not even done there. He takes Kabunda to the edge of a pit that leads into the warp, and then says, "If you truly do hail from the realm that men once called hell, when you return there, tell your kindred it was Sanguinius who threw you back," and then tosses Kabunda into the pit, banishing him. So yeah, we have Sanguinius, and
Which
then
is
the
crazy.
other Primarch I wanted to use as an example is Conrad Kurz.
Not to mention how strong Sanguinius is, who just managed to hold this gargantuan a bastard above his head and almost do like a Bane breaking the bat style. Yeah, but here we go. Conrad Curse. Oh, yeah.
Now, Conrad Kurz is kind of the opposite end of the
I was
spectrum,
gonna say
where
that.
he is actively trying to aura farm at all times. Now, I don't really have any specific examples when it comes to Kurz, but like his whole shtick was just being evil Batman. Like on
Essentially.
Nostromo as the Night Haunter, he was just constantly trying to harvest aura and fear. Even in his conquests during the Great Crusade, he would try to maximize fear and mystique to scare planets into compliance. I know I'm using the term aura a little loosely here, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say at least. Like he would post up on gargoyles just looking out over the city. And I lied
So like
earlier. I do have
Batman.
a quick little excerpt from the book Prince of Crows by Aaron Dembski Bowden, and is where Kurz decides to make his first appearance to the people of Nostromo. The Pale Man, Kurz, knew he'd have to appear before many of them tonight. The cards had revealed that much to him. The thousands gathered into this place of sleazy sanctuary would see him for the first time. A necessary indulgence, nothing more. He'd learned from them. Now they would learn from him. He crawled closer, closer, preparing to let go of the ceiling. The fall would kill one of them, but the Pale Man had come to terms with being a breed apart. He released his grip, twisting in the air, his ragged clothing spreading out in wounded wings. So yeah, he decides to make this grand entrance because he knows it's going to maximize the shock and awe of his presence. Like, even he's aware this fall would kill one of them, then I am a different beast altogether. So those are the two Primarchs I wanted to highlight in this video. But again, I'm sure you could find moments for every
Yeah,
single
like I said,
Primarch
there
if you
are
wanted to.
a
Okay, at
lot
number
of
4, we
moments.
have Lotara Saren.
Latara.
Lotara was the commanding officer of the World Eaters' flagship, the Conqueror, during the Horus Heresy. And as you know, the World Eaters are a rowdy bunch, to say the least. So the fact that she would just not take any shit from them is insane. An example comes from the book Betrayer by Aaron Dembski Bowden. So a group of World Eaters disobeyed a direct order and abandoned ship to go fight the enemy. And Lotara wasn't a big fan of that, so when they returned, she reprimanded the captain by shooting him in the face in front of
Damn.
everyone. Lotara just stood there thinking, they're not going to shoot me. But then she was protected by another World Eater, Eska, the librarian. And I mean, you shoot a World Eater in the face.
Wow.
You have so much aura that another World Eater protects you from retaliation. And she's standing there, kind of unsure why she's even still alive. But really, she's just more annoyed that they dared shoot her aboard her own ship. And then another World Eater, Skane, comes up and asks what the problem is. With the World Eater captain who was shot starting to say that she shot me, before being interrupted by Skane saying, no, I wasn't asking you, I was asking Captain Saren. To which she just replies, nothing I can't handle, Skane, but you're welcome to stay anyway.
Hold on. Hollywood takes notes on how to make a badass woman. Just saying.
Like, not only did she shoot an Astartes in the face, that Astartes is a World Eater, and then after that, she's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. He ain't shit. I got it handled. And more amazingly, she survives this. The only person who was allowed to give it to the World Eaters like that was Angron himself. And Lotara was actually pretty amicable with Angron, which is weird coming from the kill first, ask questions never.
I can
Primarch.
imagine
Like,
they
she
have
would
like
talk
a
shit and
yeah.
banter with Angron and get away with it. Which, again, he has killed members of his own legion for less. She once complained about remembrancers aboard the ship, and Angron immediately expelled all of them. The amount of aura a mere mortal has to have to
It's
accomplish
crazy.
all of that with any Primarch in Legion, let
What's that
alone
say? The
World
timeout
Eaters,
corner?
is insane and off the charts. So for our number 3 spot, we're actually going to stay with the World Eaters and talk about Karn the Betrayer.
Oh, Khan. Oh.
There's a lot of things to talk about with Karn, and you could definitely make the argument that he deserves to be higher on this list. Okay, so I'm just going to rattle off some things here. There's his duel with Azrael, chapter master of the Dark Angels, where he ultimately forced Azrael to flee because Karn was so relentless. And even when Azrael had a chance to kill
Really?
him, he realized that there was no way he could deal a fatal blow without Karn also killing him. There's the fact that he was the first World Eater to not
Yo, he made a Dark Angel shiver his boots. And that's the chapter master. Crazy.
killed immediately by Angron. At that point, Angron had already killed everyone that outranked Karn. So then it's Karn's turn, so he goes down into Angron's lair. And just like all the captains before him, Angron starts beating the shit out of him.
Yeah,
And Karn just takes the beatings like
this
a
is
champ, but is able to
shocking
persevere
how he could
through and
survive.
convince Angron to take up leadership of the Legion. Throughout it all, Angron even looks at Karn and wonders how he's still
Yeah.
alive after getting the shit kicked out of him so much. But Karn just stands back up time and time again, eventually accomplishing what everyone before him was unable to. But really, the reason he's on this list, and I'm sure what
Oh,
everyone was already
this is the
expecting
most
me to talk
iconic
about, can
moment.
be summed up in 2 words: get up. So a little
Oh shit.
background. Karn is good friends with Argol
Oh,
Tal. Everybody likes Argol Tal, except for one person, Erebus. Now, Erebus
bastard.
kills Argol Tal because Argol Tal threatens to shift the loyalties of the Legion away from Erebus and Cor Pharon's goals, and he just can't have that. But you see,
Dude.
by killing Argol Tal, he made an enemy in Karn, which
Yep.
was a bad move. So after Karn finds out who killed Argol Tal, he decides to get some revenge.
Also, if you want to know who told him that who killed Alguatal, it was Lolga, you know, the father of Erebus. Yeah, he told Khan about it, and let's just say this guy was ready for blood. Let's just say that.
Which leads us to the famous excerpt from the previously mentioned book, Betrayer by Aaron Dembski Bowden. I'm going to paraphrase because it's pretty long. So Erebus is in the dueling pits, having just beat a World Eater, is awaiting his next opponent. Delvario stepped forward, but so did Karn. The crowd, on the edge of cheering at the first warrior, fell silent
Here we
at the
go.
sight of the second. Karn said 2 words to the Centurion: let me. Erebus asking, first blood? And Karn's like, nah, sanguius extremis. To which some of the crowd kind of gasped, showing their shock, while others laughed or cheered. Erebus, a little confident, says, okay, come on then. And then there were 3 blows. The first, Karn bashed the blow aside with his axe. The second, Karn cannoned a headbutt into Erebus's nose, breaking cartilage with a wet crunch. The third, Gorechild tasted first blood, ripping across the chaplain's chest, carving a canyon into the layers of dense subdermal armor of the warrior's black carapace. All of this took place in the time it took Erebus to blink. No one could move as fast as Karn moved. No one human and nothing mortal. The chaplain threw himself backwards, Crozius up high to guard. Karn stepped forward, gunning Gorechild's trigger. The crowd was silent now. This was a Karn they had never seen before, not even on the field of battle. Another 3 blows, delivered at the same blinding speed. Erebus's maul skidded across the deck. He took a fist to the throat and a boot to the stomach, with enough force to send him sprawling back across the blood-stained iron grillwork. Erebus looked up at Karn from the ground and saw his death in the World Eater's eyes. He had never seen this before, not in any of the paths of possibility. This couldn't be happening. It couldn't end like this. He was Destiny's hand. Karn looked down at him, clearly allowing him time to recover his Crozius. Get up. Erebus rose, Crozius in hand. He attacked this time, demonstrating the skill and fury that had allowed him to hold his own against Lucius of the Emperor's Children and Loken of the Old Lunar Wolves. His Crozius trailed killing lightning, buzzing furiously as it thrummed through the empty air again and again. Karn weaved to the side of every blow, quicker than lightning, surely quicker than muscles should allow. Their weapons crashed together. Karn had parried the last blow. Erebus expected anger or accusation in the World Eater's eyes. Instead, he saw neither. Worse, he saw a bored indulgence. The captain even sighed. 3 more blows. Erebus was on the deck before he knew how. Pain flared across his chest, hot and urgent, matching the throb of his smashed face. He reached out to touch the wound with a hand that was no longer there. His hand? His hand? His hand was on the deck, several meters away. Blood leaked from the chewed veins still nestled in the meat of his severed limb. Turning unbelieving eyes downwards, he saw that his arm now ended at the wrist. Erebus looked up at Karn again. He was just waiting. Get up. The chaplain rose. Karn didn't wait this time. The blows were blurs of howling motors and whirling chain teeth. Pain bloomed across Erebus's body, and he was face down on the deck before he fully managed to rise from the last time. Get up. Erebus actually tried, but he froze when he felt Gorechild's teeth against his spine. The idling chain blade was leaking out its promethium fuel stink, its still teeth kissing Erebus's vertebrae. Unfortunately, Karn isn't able to kill Erebus.
Yeah, that pretty sucks. But dude, that whole exchange was fucking awesome. Not only that, the whole arena just stood silent. Mind you, those were word bearers, and wood bears. No, world eaters. World eaters. And those guys love blood and gore. And the fact that they just stood silent shows how much power that Khan had over that entire ring, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. He was fucking pissed. It goes to show you, bros before the hoes, huh?
Here, he's able to teleport himself away. But yeah, for me personally, as an Erebus hater, this is probably one of my favorite moments of the Horus Heresy. And
Oh
the way
yes,
Karn
I
is just
feel
sitting
like
there
it's
in front of
everyone.
everyone, beating the brakes off of Erebus time and time again, so nonchalantly, just waiting for him to recover, saying, get up, time and time again, is so hard. Like, in front
It's
of
so
everyone, he's
simple
just
yet
like, I am
effective.
so
Get up.
beyond you that I'm just gonna let you get up again and again because you're nothing compared to me, and I'm going to punish you for killing my friend. And I think this by itself earns him a place on this list. And the other reason he isn't at the top of this list, really, is that the fact that he's an
Yeah,
Astartes
just
kind of
like the
knocks him
Primarchs, they
down
were
a
just
little bit,
made to
in the
be
same
this
way as the
badass.
Primarchs. And I think aura farming as a normal human, like our 1 and 2 spots, just gets you bonus points, if that makes sense. And that leads us to our number 2 spot, Caiaphas Cain.
Here we go.
Now, Caiaphas Cain might seem like an odd choice, especially following Karn, but let me cook and see if I can convince you. Okay, so I feel like if you've read the Caiaphas Cain books, you know exactly what I'm talking about here, right? Like, he is always trying to maximize his aura farming. Like, oh shit, we just won that battle? Let me strike a pose and say something heroic, so
He
everyone
knows
thinks
he
I'm
has to
not a
keep,
coward.
you
Like,
know.
yes, Caiaphas, we see the fit. Like, his inner monologue is just talking about, man, how do
Yeah,
I look the
he has
most
to keep
heroic
his
and the
image,
least
so
like a
he just
coward
had to
at
keep
all
trying
times? Like, legitimately, he's the only one really
to.
on this list whose whole purpose and goal is
Yeah,
to
I'm sorry.
maximize his aura at all
I don't want
times.
to
And to be
interrupt him
fair,
too
it
much.
works. He's not the hero of the Imperium for nothing. Every Caiaphas Cain book has countless examples of him aura farming, but I don't want to be here all day, so I'm just going
Yeah.
to use one example. This comes from the book The Traitor's
Oh, is
Hand
this
by
the
Sandy
one?
Mitchell. So, for a little context, Cain and the Valhallans are fighting
Oh
a
yeah,
group
this is
of
the one.
Khorne worshippers, and Cain is trying to return to the HQ bunker to hide, but is swept along by a group of soldiers and ends up running straight into a Chaos Space Marine that is leading the attack. His first thought is, holy shit, this guy is huge. Caiaphas Cain internally is terrified out of his mind and basically just keeps spamming parry and starts talking a little shit. Is that the best you can do? Cain taunts him, knowing that he doesn't have any actual serious hope in besting him in a prolonged fight, but knowing that there's troops around him, so of course he has to aura farm a little bit, and is
Yeah,
hoping to keep
just to
him
show
pinned long
I
enough
am
for
that
Jurgen
man.
or someone to line up a shot. So he continues to taunt him. I thought the acolytes of Khorne were supposed to be warriors, not a bunch of pansies. And this continues for a little bit with Cain just
My watch
barely
is
not
going
dying
off.
again and
Whatever.
again. When the light of Jurgen's Melta stabbed the darkness, vaporizing the middle of the Space Marine's chest. With Caiaphas Cain, again, continuing to aura farm, brushes the snow from his greatcoat, saying, thank you, Jurgen, with Jurgen asking if he needs anything else. Cain, being conscious of the attention of the troopers surrounding him, straightens his cap and with all of the indifference he could muster, says, now that you mention it, I think now would be a good time for that tea. And every near
Yeah, he has a lot of times where he had to like, okay, how can I make this look so like badass? So he just really had to keep his reputation, because if he shows that he's nothing but a coward, then he's gonna get executed. No, tortured relentlessly and executed. So he really doesn't have a choice. And the Kaivis Ken's books are pretty good. So I highly recommend them. Getting one of those books at Audible or Amazon or somewhere, because they are wonderful to read.
death encounter that Caiaphas Cain has kind of ends like this. He's always calculating, thinking, how do I use
Yeah,
this
exactly.
situation to gain the most aura for the legend that is Caiaphas Cain? And honestly, if I wasn't using a modified definition of aura farming, Caiaphas Cain would definitely take the top spot. But for this video, there is one
Kaivis
person
Ken,
above him.
hero
At
of
our
the
top spot, we
Imperium.
have another commissar, the legendary Sebastian Yarrick, nicknamed Old Bale Eye by the orcs.
Old Bela himself.
Had so much aura that he was able to get orcs, yes, orcs to flee from him. He once dueled a hulking war boss, Yarick losing an arm in the process, but he took the orc's head in return and then replaced his severed limb with the war boss's own power claw, terrifying the surrounding orcs. Like for like, which part are you willing to give me? Striking terror in the hearts of all the orcs. And of course, people sing the praises of
Which is
Sebastian
crazy.
Yarick across the whole of the Imperium.
Because the only time an orc was ever afraid by someone was Jadagai Khan, where they killed his best friend, and the Khan just went on beast mode and started butchering everyone. If Yarick, an old commissar man able to produce that much aura, shows how badass he is.
I think really shows his aura is how his greatest enemy talks about him.
Oh, yes.
Gazkol Thraka once said, "Shumis is all weak scum that deserve to get stomped. Set for One-Eye Yarick. He knows how to fight." Gazkol actually once captured Commissar Yarick, but let him go, even going so far as to throw a parade for him on his way out. Thraka speaking to Yarick in High Gothic. "A great fight," he said, extending a huge clawed finger and tapping Yarick once on the chest. "My best enemy." He stepped aside and gestured to the ramp. "Go to Armageddon," he said. "Make ready for the greatest fight." Gazkol Thraka had so much respect for Sebastian Yarick that
Which
he
is
had
crazy.
him in his grasp, but still
Absolutely
decided
insane.
to let him go because good enemies are hard to find. Like, every story you hear about Sebastian Yarick is just him being really cool. And it
Yeah.
really can't be understated that this man had so much aura that the orc warlord respects him above any other enemy. That's insane when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And having so much aura that orcs both fear and deeply respect you is what lands Sebastian Yarick at the top of this list. Okay, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for staying till the end of the video. It really does mean a lot. Let me know what you would like to see me cover next in the comments below. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, Goblin out.
That was pretty good. Oh, oops, sorry. God damn. So yeah, that was pretty good. I also heard of the situation that happened with um remember sir, the YouTuber who covers a lot of characters and legions on Warhammer, and he got, you know, uh demolished by YouTube because, well, YouTube thought he was an AI, even though there are plenty of AI YouTubers who are using Warhammer 40k as a content. So I really want to, spread that awareness. I know Major Kill did a video on it, but I want to make sure that everyone is aware of it, and you guys should support Remember Sir, because he makes some awesome content. I actually watched some of the video to give a good understanding on what and how, when, where, and why these factions, character stories are where they are now. Just a good history dive, and he is a awesome person, and it was very, very disgusting to see. He's being attacked by YouTube because they think he's using some sort of illegal shit, when in reality this guy is on the books. He has a ton of knowledge of everything, and being through that is, it could piss off somebody. It could really piss off. And so well, thank you so much for watching. Well, was top 5 ore farming for Warhammer 40k. I will leave a link to the original video in the description below, and also leave Gooner Goblin's channel below because he makes some good content as well. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!